Well, good morning everybody. It's Sunday, February 4th, and I just thought I'd do a little video here highlighting some of the changes we're making in our kitchen, just some minor renovation really. And as you can see in the front here, our counters have been removed, so that's what we're doing. That's the job we're doing this time. We've just removed our counters because there was a bit of rot occurring in our sink area that was starting to affect how our taps were working or how they could be connected properly. So we decided to change out the counters, which were just a laminate type of counter, and they were a dark color to contrast with our lighter colored cabinetry. So it was almost a black. It had some freckling in it as well, but fairly dark color overall. So what we've decided to do is replace that with a more natural type of countertop. So we're actually bringing in granite for the countertops this time. And it's also going to be a fairly dark granite. It's called Caledonia, and I'll show some pictures of it here. And also later this week, midweek, we're going to have the people come in and actually put the new countertops on. So I'll do a video of that as well, hopefully, and include it either with this one or as a separate video. But just thought I'd highlight some of the work we're doing here in the kitchen. This is our front counter, just on the front of the stove here. And you'll see a big white area here. This is a Lazy Susan that's built into the counter. It's a 2-shelf spinning unit that allows you to place pots and pans and things on a round area that spins around and makes it handy for accessing. A lot of people have these. We also have another one over in this corner behind us. One of the major changes we're making here with this counter is that we're extending it out. The old one only came out about 2 inches beyond the border of the cabinets here. On each side, the end and the front, we're going to have the granite countertop come out about a further 8 inches on the front and the side here. So that'll give us quite a bit bigger area of the countertop, which will be nice to have. So this just shows our plumbing in the sink area. You'll notice that there's 2 drains. So we had a double basin sink here, and we'll be replacing it with a double basin sink too, and a new faucet as well. So that'll be nice to have. We're not sure if the new sink will actually match the same pipe dimensions here as far as width between them, so we may have to do some rejigging of the plumbing here to make it fit, but hopefully it will fit these same dimensions. The new sink will actually sit under the counter, which is different from our previous counter where the sink edge sat on top of the counter. The new design, which is common with granite, I guess, or stone countertops, is that you put the sink under the countertop, and they seal that, I guess, with various caulking or silicone or something, but it's a different look. But anyhow, that's where we're at with this section of the sink. After the new countertop is installed, we're also going to put a backsplash on this wall behind the countertop. We didn't really have a proper backsplash before. The previous countertops did have a little 3-inch edge here that came up and covered that part of the wall, which is like a semi backsplash, I guess. But once the new countertops are in, which will come up to about this mark, which is 3 centimeters high because that's the thickness of the granite, we're going to put tile backsplash in here all the way along this wall, under this window and under these cabinets, right to the edges of each wall. So that'll be nice to have just for a bit of added protection, and it'll give it a new look under the cabinetry as well. If you're ever considering putting natural stone countertops in your kitchen or any other part of your house, it's an interesting process, and I wasn't aware of the process before we started on this venture. Just thought I'd outline it a bit here. Anyhow, so typically you find a local fabricator or a local business that will actually put the countertops in your house, and you can go there, and often they'll have their own little showrooms that you can look at different samples of the different rocks and get an idea of the type you like. And then if you find something that you like, they typically ask you to go to the nearby warehouses. And so we chose Ottawa because we often go up there to visit my father, who's in a residence up there. So one day we did that. We ended up going to one of these warehouses and probably spent over an hour there just going up and down the aisles looking at all these huge slabs of granite and quartzite and marble and other types of rock that they had from all over the world, basically. And in the end, we came back to our fabricator here in Kingston and told them, oh, we found this one type we really liked, and they told us, well, actually that's a marble, even though the place that we went to had it labeled as a quartzite, which is a very hard rock. And marble isn't generally recommended for kitchen use because there's a lot of traffic in a kitchen, and marble's fairly soft and it can more easily stain or wear more easily than something like granite or quartzite. So they advised us not to go with that one based on their experience with it, even though it was a gorgeous and fairly low priced option. Had lots of coloration, lots of swirling patterns, just beautiful. Anyhow, so we weren't sure what to do then. We looked around at some of the slabs they had in their yard, and some of those were also very expensive. So we hemmed and hawed about it and weren't sure. We almost decided just to go back to using another laminate here. But in the end, we had done some more research on the internet looking at different stone options and discovered there was one or two from Canada, and the one we ended up going with was called Caledonia, and it's a dark Canadian granite mined out of Quebec. So that's the one we went with. It's a very simple looking countertop. It's just, I guess I would call it speckled or freckled. It's a dark, largely black coloration, but it has a lot of pink and white colorations in it as well. Very nice. I showed a few samples, I guess, or I will show some samples here. Anyhow, it reminds me a lot of the old granites you'd just see on buildings and things, so I kind of liked it from that perspective. Simple and not too confused. As I mentioned, some of the ones out there these days are just gorgeous, but the price goes up astronomically typically on those ones. And we've decided just to keep our pricing a bit lower here. This is one of the lower cost options for granite typically. And it's from Canada, which we were kind of keen on supporting a Canadian company as opposed to going to Brazil or France or Russia or any other place. India typically has a lot of them as well, so that's what we did. So they want you to go to the warehouses, pick out your slabs that you want specifically, come back, get the price confirmed, and then you'll get those exact slabs. Because if you just told them that you want this certain type that you had seen somewhere else, they don't like to just order it in from the warehouse, because in all likelihood you're going to get a slab that's, all these slabs are unique, so you may get a pattern that you don't like. So that's why they like you to go to these warehouses and pick out the precise slabs that you want. Now in our case with the Caledonia, as I mentioned, it's a very uniform slab throughout. No matter what slab you get, it all looks the same basically, so we're not concerned about getting one that we won't like or that kind of thing. So in the end, hopefully it'll all work out and we'll be happy with what we get. I'm sure we will. So anyhow, just a little bit of notes about the process involved.